Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor.
Himself, Tony Bruno, and the Tony Bruno Show starts at 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Martinez Company from 6 p.m. to 8. And we've got more to come. The Tony Bruno Sports Network. Download the app. Tell your friends the game is on. TBSN.
Feels good to see the world getting loose. Feels good to see the world getting loose. I don't know about you, Sack Noel. I don't know about you, Phenom. I don't know about you, White Shadow. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I'm 2 plus 2, I'm for sure. You down, I'm down, baby, let's go. You stop, you drop, baby, then roll. You twerk, you pop, booty so swole. I'd hate me too if I were you. And when it comes to billions, I'll take 2. It's only one life, you don't get 2. So live life, don't let it live you.
I got a pocket full of $100 bills. Put on a jacket, cause these diamonds give you chills. 2 shots are running, 2 out, I'm stunning tonight. Yeah. Look in the mirror, I'm like, who the hell is he? So many whips and cribs, I'm losing track of keys. Ooh, up to something. Ooh, yeah, I love it, alright.
Yeah, I'm drinking out the bottle. Get loose, hanging with supermodels. Get loose, feel like I hit the lotto. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel
good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monday evening here. Your drive home time now at 6 p.m. It is Martinez Company. I am Angel Martinez. Ryan Neffwood should be joining me here hopefully momentarily, as he's had a couple of audio issues that he's trying to get straightened out before the show starts. But the show must continue regardless. So let's see. Maybe he's going to pop in now, and hopefully he'll be able to hear me and I'll be able to hear him one way or the other. But anyways, hopefully, and then at the way he looks right now, he may not be able to hear me, as I saw him freeze up there for a second. But anyways, it is Martinez Company. I am Angel Martinez once again here. It is a Monday evening, December 4th already, as the year has quickly come basically to an end at this point. It is, we're only, 20-something days away? Were we 24, 31? I don't know. 27 days away. There you go. 27 days away from the end of the year. And down here in Tampa, Florida, right now, it is a balmy 68 degrees. I don't know where you guys are, but wherever you are, I hope it's a little bit warm, if not inside your home or maybe outside. We don't know, one of the two, but I see Ryan shaking his head, so hopefully he'll get his stuff here on momentarily. If not, he might have to join me the old-fashioned way, because it seems like it may not work the way he would like it. So as I'm talking to you guys, I am going to send him a quick message to tell him that maybe he needs to jump in another way.
I got you.
Hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Oh, so what was the trick?
I have no idea.
Maybe, you might have to start hand cranking your laptop from like 5 o'clock. That way, by the time 6 o'clock rolls around, you're ready to go.
Yeah, well, we will have these issues, so.
Boy, oh boy. All right. Anyways, so we're here, obviously, to provide great entertainment for you guys. And later on, we will have John Kincade from 97.5, the Fanatic, the John Kincade Show. He will be on with us a little bit later on throughout the show. And don't forget, if you guys want to call into the show and or text into the show, you can do so at 844-644-8669, 844-644-8669. And if you guys are wondering what the 8669 for, no, it's not that. It's actually for Tony. So get your mind out of the gutter there. I was going to say it another way, but I quickly corrected myself. But anyways, it is Monday. It was a weekend. Obviously, a lot of football on both sides of the house, college football, NFL. I think there's a lot of folks, a ton of folks that are really, really upset the way the college rankings came out. So we will get into that here in a little bit. But throughout the show, we're going to talk about Kenny Pickett, his ankle injury. Yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers, after finding ways to win, they found a way to lose against the Arizona Cardinals. Eagles signed Shaq Leonard for a one-year deal. Christian McCaffrey becomes the first to reach 1,000 rushing yards in the season at the expense of, yes, and I still wear my T-shirt proudly with the Philadelphia Eagles, even though they got dog walked, as my great friend, my hermano, was talking to me earlier about it. And so Rob Thompson also gets a one-year extension for the Phillies. That's good because, again, and before I get into the other stuff, Brian, because Rob Thompson, everybody knows, right? When he ended up taking over, no one saw, obviously, the Phillies making a World Series run in 2022. Now,
can't hear you again.
You can't hear me again. All right. So since he can't hear me again, I'll just talk to you guys. Rob Thompson, as I wait for Ryan to figure out exactly what's going on here. But Rob Thompson ends up taking the Phillies to a 2022 World Series run that no one expected. This year, we'd hoped the Phillies would get back there. They came up short. Throughout the season, everybody talked about that maybe Rob Thompson should be fired. And obviously, as the season progressed, Rob Thompson did not get fired. But now he has a one-year extension with the Phillies. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. Some Phillies talk. Titans fire special teams coordinator Craig Aukerman. Once again, we see teams that are not doing well that are either firing the offensive coordinators or firing their defensive coordinators. We hear special team coordinators now getting released. So Craig is one of those from the Titans who was fired. Also, Ohio State quarterback Kyle McCord enters the transfer portal after having a really good season. So I'm kind of surprised on that one as well. Saints QB Derek Carr. There you go. Derek Carr. He enters the protocol concussion. And then we'll also get into what would a 12-team college football playoff look like. James Harden finally goes on the record to supposedly, allegedly, tell the truth. And then some NHL updates, including Corey Perry. Sorry about exactly what happened. Is it the truth? Because we've been talking about it since last week. Is it something that Corey Perry actually going to say what went on? Or are we going to keep hearing the spin doctor story? So that get into it, and I'll double check here with Ryan. Ryan, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think I'm going to start having you go to the Fort Myers studio so you can actually connect and you'll be able to hear everything that's going on. So anyways, we always have, of course, a topic for you guys as the week starts. And one thing I'd like to know from you guys is, as the holidays approach, the time allotted by your company. Now, some companies do not like that you actually take time off during the holidays. Now, some people do add up their time throughout their year before the fiscal year ends. You know, some people might take the week before Christmas, the week after New Year's. Some people take off the entire month of December. So I like to know if you guys, if your employer minds that you take off time during the holidays. Everybody knows that usually from Thanksgiving to New Year's, if you order something online, depending on where you're shopping, all that good fun stuff, a lot of times they do not like for you to take that time off. But if you are awarded the time and you do have it in your bank rather than losing it, some people have them till like January 15th or 16th of the following year to burn it all. So I'm wondering, does your employer like or not like that you take that time off? Brian, I know you own your own company, so you don't have to worry about taking time off.
Yeah, well, fortunately, this year Christmas falls on a Monday, so don't have to worry about any of that. But normally, if it's falling during a weekday, a lot of people will, they'll still make people come in like half a day Christmas Eve to, you get Christmas off and you have to come in the next day. So fortunately for me, my regular job, I don't have to worry about that because I even asked, are you going to make us work Christmas Saturday?
Right.
They're like, no, you get the whole weekend plus the Monday. So I'm giddy about that.
Okay. Well, listen, we were supposed to have last year, we were supposed to have the entire week off, but because we got so busy, we didn't get the opportunity of taking the entire week off, which is, it is what it is, but we got busy last year, and I was supposed to go to Vegas with my lovely producer, but I couldn't, so she had to go solo, which was great for her because she was able to see her sons out there in Vegas. But, do I get frustrated if I don't take the time off? I don't know. I've for a good portion of my life, I've worked every single holiday. And so it becomes a norm to me. At least, maybe for some, they don't like it, but for me, it's become a norm. So if Monday, at least I know that we'll be off on Monday. It would just be nice to have off that Tuesday. Like that Friday would kind of make no sense because it falls on a Monday. So I would think most companies would like to do like a Monday, Tuesday off because there's families, obviously, that travel, and some people go local. They like to hang out with their friends. And it's kind of tough if you're having a dinner on the 25th, and then you got to get right back up early, depending on where you work at, and head out to work back on Tuesday. So hopefully most companies will at least award you a 2-day holiday, which is Monday, Tuesday. So let me know what your company does. If you guys would like to share in the input, you can do it on Tony Bruno Sports Network Facebook page, and or call or text in at 844-644-8669. Also, hopefully a little bit later on, I'll be able to talk to the Dean of College Picks, as I will love his input as a New England fan on the actual status of how everyone feels out there in New England, because I guess we could start with that one there, Ryan, where could it get any worse for the New England Patriots?
At this point, I don't know. That game was brutal against the I don't know who did they play this. The Chargers. It was 6-0.
Yeah.
So just absolutely brutal. I just say at this point, just the Patriots should just throw the kitchen sink at everybody, play everybody and anybody, do all kinds of trick plays, run exotic defenses, switch it up. Last 5 games of the season, you just go balls to the wall and just do some orthodox crap. That's what I would do. So I'm sure Pete, if he's listening, will probably just want them to tank the rest of the season to try and get the highest draft pick possible, possibly the number 1 pick. But again, be careful what you wish for, because sometimes the first pick doesn't always pan out. 2 years ago, college football quarterbacks, there's only 2 that were drafted that year that have been a success. So again, you got the Patriots, you got the Cardinals, you have, some other teams that are they should just say the hell with it. We're either going to tank or we're just going to start doing some wild stuff.
Yeah, well, at this point, I don't know how much worse it can get for New England. If you guys remember, Pete said on Friday that the Patriots should just play at 1 o'clock in the morning, and he might have had a point. He may have foreseen something, because I just listen. It's bad. It's bad for New England. I don't think I've ever seen any kind of a fallout like this with New England. And again, listen, you guys know I like to tease. I mean, you name it. It's about having fun. We can give our opinions. We can have fun with it, but at the same time, too, I'm pretty sure for Patriots fans to go from where they were to them being Tom Brady less, and now watching this team just completely continue to fall every single week. And for Belichick, you're never going to get anything new from him, because he always has that same ridiculous face. Like, no, I'm going to give you guys the same answer I've been giving you all this time. The only thing that moves a little bit is the jaw. Everything else remains the same. It's been, I don't know, how long has he been up there? 100 years? It's time for him to kind of come out of his goofy shell, because listen, I don't know how many people truly believe what he can possibly do for their team come next season. Obviously the Chargers were probably thinking about it. Were they thinking about it as much after his game? Probably not, because you're the head coach you've been talking about for the longest. Obviously he's not going to lose his job because he was able to pull off a 6-0 win. But New England's just looking horrendous. 2-11 or 2-10 at this point?
2-10. The only time I could remember the Patriots struggling this back was way back when. I'm talking early 80s. I think they were 2-14 one year. Pete would be able to expand upon that. And then they had some success in the 80s, obviously. And then right around, I think it was the early 90s, from 90 to 93, they were bad. I mean, one year they were 2-14. I think I'm looking at it here. 1990 they were 1-15. So they went through a stretch in the early 90s where they were really bad. They were sucking out loud, and then it kind of turned around when Parcells got there. So, but those are the only times that I can remember it being worse for the Patriots than it is now.
Yeah, the one thing I think we haven't mentioned yet, Ryan, is that who do you think would be the lead candidate to take over for the Patriots? Because they keep saying that Jim Harbaugh, again, all rumors, all speculation, supposedly will be a great candidate for the Bears. I don't know if he's necessarily thrilled about going to the Bears. Again, and that's if they let go of Eberflus. No one knows. They can keep him around and say maybe the second year, or third year or fourth year he'll get better. So would someone like Harbaugh make sense in New England?
I mean, you're going to have somebody that has to go through a reclamation project. The Patriots rebuilding, the Bears, no matter who they get in there. I mean, Justin Fields not their guy. So I don't know. Harbaugh is going to come up for a lot of coaching vacancies. So again, I don't know who they could bring in. I'm sure Robert Kraft will do his due diligence. So, but they're going to have to bring somebody in that's used to like rebuilding programs. So, Belichick sort of came into a decent situation. Parcells didn't leave the cupboard bare. And then they had the fantastic drafts, and then Drew Bledsoe got hurt, and the rest is history. So, I don't know where Harbaugh would go. It would just be, again, places like, the Chargers, the Bears, and you have the Patriots and stuff like that. So I don't know, because they're going to be about 7 or 8 coaching vacancies this year. So, and as far as the coaching ranks go, it's kind of slim pickings. So again, be careful what you wish for. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I don't know, Angel. I don't know where New England can turn.
I'm wondering too if Ron Rivera gets let go. I'm wondering where, and someone else is going to. I believe, I could be wrong, but I think someone else would allow at least an opportunity. I don't know if it'll be a head coaching position. It could be an OC. It could be a DC. But he's going to get an opportunity somewhere else. Joey B tuning in. Joey B says, Neff's just happy that Florida, maybe you continued it here. Give us a second. That Florida State is out, Gator shirt and all. Well, brother. Then he says, Neff, what's up in Kingdom becoming a queendom? Which, unless Ryan has talked about his team and saying how they weren't going to be there. And Joey B says, Pats fans, they needed to be humbled. Let them simmer for a decade or so on the back burner. And I don't think anybody's going to disagree. At least I don't think so. I know there's a text that came in. By the way, you guys can text in or call into the show at 844-644-8669. 844-644-8669. AJ from San Antonio saying, surprisingly, the college playoff committee wanted to rank the Patriot 5 to further screw Georgia and FSU. But the SEC commissioner thought that was too over the top. And I know Pete, thank you, AJ, as always, too, for tuning into the show. I do appreciate it. I know Pete had talked about, and he was visibly frustrated this morning, the way everything came down. But to me, that didn't make any sense to me either. As far as the way that the whole college ranking system comes down, I mean, it's supposedly they want an SEC team in there every year. Again, I'm not one of those college crazy phenoms, so there's not much that I can say and disagree upon it. At the end of the year, do I watch the bowl games? I end up watching it. But to me, I think part of why I'm not too much into college football is because at the end of the year, something like this happens where Georgia and Florida State should have been in there, but now they're not. And I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. And then we talked about also bowl games not too long ago, Ryan. And the ridiculous thing that I heard today was, and again, Pete laughed about it this morning on a show, the Tony the Tiger Bowl is one of them. And then the Lysol Toilet Bowl, which is how ridiculous. I mean, it gets worse and worse and worse. I swear it does.
There's too many damn bowl games, man. There's 43 bowl games. So 86 teams make college football bowls. That's ridiculous. There's 300 and some odd college basketball programs, Division I, and only a sixth of the teams make it. 68 teams, 2 playing games, to make the field of 64. So college football, because of all the bowl games, you reward mediocrity. So if you're one of the major conferences, you get the 6 wins, you're bowl eligible. That's stupid. There's some teams that have a losing record this year that make bowl games because the bowl games have to fill out, the lineups. So it's ridiculous. For me, if you're not 7-5 or above,
right,
you shouldn't be making a bowl game. But again, money. That's just the way it is. And you were talking about the college football playoff. It's sickening. It's disgusting. It's so beyond what I ever thought possible even 10 years ago with the college football playoff. College football playoff started to be a beautiful thing. And now this year, it's just turned into a travesty. And I'm sick and tired of people saying, well, they did get the 4 best teams right. I'm sorry. Florida State was asked to do everything it did. They went undefeated in the ACC. They were 13-0. They won their ACC title. But because Greg Sankey, who I lost a lot of respect for the other day, going on national television and making an analogy to Sesame Street, pandering, elitist, well, that's not the real world that we live in, that an SEC team would be left out of the college football playoff. Shut up. Just shut up. I'm passionate about this. It pissed me off to no end. It still pisses me off. I can't believe he said that on national television, that you would have to drivel so low that you had to put it out there. Your product is good enough. You don't have to be quoting Sesame Street. One thing doesn't belong. One thing is not like the other. Come on, man. Come on, grow up. So again, it just, for Alabama to be in and FSU not to be in is complete lunacy.
Well, speaking of that video, because you said you wanted to make sure that it was up there, and Joey B, I'm going to get to your comments here in a second, along with Penguin AZ. I see your comment as well. Here is the video.
As you look at this right now, and we talk about the possibility, if Alabama were to upset Georgia, SEC being left out, what would be your response to that?
That's not the real world of college football.
What do you mean by that?
Well, let's go back to Sesame Street. So we're really basic. One of these things is not like the other, and that's the Southeastern Conference. So we have 5 of the top 15. We have 5 of the top 15. We actually don't send signs to other people's events, but that's cool too. We have 5 of the top 15, so a third. And our teams are playing everyone in the conference. They're all attached. They have to overcome a lot of adversity. Intense environments are going to be close games. But the reality is there's been no one that's experienced the success in the postseason, the college football playoff.
So there's his comment.
And if you heard everybody in the background snickering, as far as the ESPN crew goes, they were snickering because they could not believe what in the hell he just said. So, when you blatantly come out and say, look, when Reese Davis asked him, if Alabama beats Georgia, then there's a good possibility that the SEC is going to be left out of the equation. And without skipping a beat, he says, well, that's just not the real world that we live in. How ignorant and crass and elitist and self-entitled do you sound after that? I'm an SEC guy, man. I'm a Florida Gator. I root for the Florida Gators, no matter how bad they suck, no matter how good they are. But to have that man as our commissioner I lost a lot of respect the other day when he said that, because he did not have to do any of that. But he felt the need to. Why? Because there was just a slight possibility that Florida State was going to make it in. So he had to hammer the nail and keep hammering the nail. And it just pisses me off, because we're not going to have this problem next year. And I'm going off on tangents and rants. But again, I'm passionate about this. And I think you're basically, Angel, you're basically saying to those kids, well, that one player that got hurt, that was your demise. You are taking the team concept of football and throwing that completely out the window. So you're basically saying is you guys better stay healthy and you better not have key injuries because it's going to matter at the end of the year. You know how dumb that sounds? It's a team sport. That defense is top-notch caliber. That's a top 5 defense in the country. That's a national championship defense. Hey, look, nobody gave TCU a chance against Michigan last year in the first round of the college football playoff. TCU won the regular season Big 12 title, got their ass kicked by Kansas State, and they still made the college football playoff. Ohio State last year, they didn't win the Big 10. They lost to Michigan. They still got in. I don't want to hear the excuses anymore. It's a joke. Something needs to be tinkered. What they really need to do committee-wise is they need to hire people who watch college football, eat, breathe it, sleep it 24/7. Because those idiots that they have in there now made the wrong decision.
All right, team. And that's why my team that I root for every year is the team of illegals, because there's a new batch every single year and they just keep on running. So it works out for me. I'm just saying because, again, I don't know what it is. I agree as far as the hiring process, the guys who end up watching how to make the rankings is completely different. They should take people that actually do watch the entire season and know exactly what's going on here. So I'll get into a couple quick comments as we're quickly coming up on the break here. The other one here, Penguin AZ says, what up, Martinez and Company? Does Pierce Raiders head coach get replaced? Is John Gruden making a return? There are grumblings that it could end up happening. There are grumblings. AJ in San Antonio says Liberty is going to get boat raced by Oregon. And again, with all the ridiculous freaking names that are out there for all these bowl games is something else. Joey B says he came back to his comment. Says Willie Fritz, best hire in college football thus so far by University of Houston. Agreed. And Georgia going to lay 40+ on Florida State in the Orange Bowl. Florida State quarterback out was the main factor in Knowles not getting in. Part of the committee's criteria, key injuries play a factor in teams' rating. Yeah, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Joey, I would have to get back to you on this one because I forgot there are two here in Tampa, and I'm hoping, crossing fingers and everything else, I'll be able to cover it on both ends, hopefully. And 2 more comments before we go into the break here. The other one by Joey B. Once again, let me bring this back up to 13-0 doesn't mean a thing when your best player quarterback is hurt and can't participate. Part of the committee's criteria. Yep, sir. SEC. Skip every class. That's what it stands for. And then Penguin AZ, Joey B, what up, bro? And I like when everybody goes back and forth here. Joey B says, the Penguin AZ, yes, what up? Well, we'll just keep going back and forth with our comments as we're coming up with a break. This is great. As Joey B says, Penguin AZ, it's been at least 2 years since I've seen you in the chat. Saw your show a few times last year too, or the year before. And the last one being, let's see, Deion Sanders, his girlfriend let him, rumor here in Boulder. She entered the transfer portal. Oh, dear Lord. And that's the way we end the first segment. Boy, I guess everybody's listen. There's Ohio State again, quarterback. There's so many guys in the transfer portal. It is a round robin, really, of just who's next. There should be a turnstile. Someone, maybe I don't know. I'll create it. There's got to be a turnstile of just the players. Okay, who's coming in? That one's out next because it's ridiculous. You got about 30 seconds there, amigo.
Yeah. I mean, Colin McCord for Ohio State. He sees what's coming. He's not going to be the starter next year. So he wants out. He'll probably go to a smaller school or just like another, smaller school in Division I, maybe like Iowa, something like that, even though Kay McNamara is coming back. So, we'll see. But there's probably going to be 2,000 to 3,000 players, if not more, in the transfer portal. It's going to continue to grow.
Okay. Well, you heard it here from it is, though. It is. I agree. It's getting, again, we talked about the NIL. We talked about this transfer portal. It keeps getting bigger and more ridiculous because now the guys are holding out for money. So who knows? Anyways, it's going to get more and more ridiculous before it gets even freaking better. So anyways, after the break, we'll come back. Again, soon we'll have John Kincade on from 97.5 The Fanatic. The morning show, John Kincade Show, will be on with us just a little bit later on. So we'll get into some more talk, including the NHL. Corey Perry saying that he is sorry. And don't forget, after this show, it was supposed to start today. It will be delayed by a week. So starting next week, December 11th, will be AJ Johnson and the Bleacher Brothers from 8 to 10 p.m. Then it will be the best of the entire night until Pete wakes everybody up from 7 to 10 a.m. in the morning, followed by D4 and Luby, the best of from 12 to 3, and then the man himself, Tony Bruno and Miss Robin, the Tony Bruno Show, and then right back here with Martinez Company from 6 to 8 p.m. So after the break, we'll hear what Corey Perry has to say. We will talk to you guys right after this.
You're listening to Tony Bruno Sports Network. Tony didn't invent sports radio, he perfected it.
Do you know what brand sells the most work shoes in America? Skechers. Why? Skechers has the best looking safety toe and slip resistant shoes around. They've got superior quality and simply incredible prices, but many people get them just for the style. So you can enjoy tough, steel-toed protection and slip resistant soles anywhere, even if you don't need them for work. And since they're Skechers, you know they're going to be comfortable with Skechers exclusive air-cooled memory foam. Find your new pair of Skechers safety toe and slip resistant work shoes at a Skechers store, at Skechers.com, or wherever work shoes are sold.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
How much is safety and peace of mind worth to you? Severe weather can happen suddenly, and the AccuWeather app gives you more accurate and timely warnings than any other source, right down to the street level. A Premium Plus subscription on the AccuWeather app costs less than a cup of coffee each month, and with it, you get the fastest and most accurate alerts to keep you and your loved ones safer. Clear, concise, and actionable forecasts with superior accuracy. Download the AccuWeather app and choose a Premium Plus subscription today.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Now back to the biggest sports network on the planet, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper. Toda mi gente se mueve. Mira el ritmo como los tiene. Hago música que entretiene. El mundo nos quiere, me quiere a mí. Toda mi gente se mueve. Mira el ritmo como los tiene. Hago música que entretiene. Mi música los tiene fuerte bailando y se baila así.
La fiesta no para, apenas comienza. C'est comme si, c'est comme ça, ma chérie. La 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 la. Francia, Colombia, me gusta. Freeze. Y Balvin, Willy William.
Y como siempre, cuando venimos para atrás del primer break, gracias a ustedes por escuchando nosotros aquí en el Tony Bruno Sports Network. Yo soy Ángel Martínez, eres Ryan Neff. Y juntos somos Martinez Company, aquí con el Tony Bruno Sports Network. Y como Tony siempre dice, en el lenguaje en inglés, bonito, hombre, bonito. So, gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Si quieres llamar al show, lo puedes hacer el 844-644-8669, 844-644-8669. And for those who like to hit the number one, as soon as we come out of the first break, as we head into quarter number 2 there, thank you all for tuning in to the Tony Bruno Sports Network. And for those who like to hear when Tony says it all the time, beautiful, man, beautiful. That's why you hear the bonito, hombre, bonito. So that's the translation. In case you guys want to Google it later on, you can. But don't forget, you guys can call into the show and or text into the show at 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8669, and or make your comments here live on the Tony Bruno Sports Network Facebook page. Now, getting into Corey Perry, am I 1,000% convinced that what he stated was actually true? Is just one of those things that they're going to keep just spinning out there with the spin doctor theory that something else had ended up happening. But he broke his silence. Apparently, Harden broke his silence. We'll get into her story as well. But Corey Perry breaks silence after having contract terminated by the Blackhawks earlier this week after an alcohol-related incident. This is courtesy of Yahoo Sports. As it says, Corey Perry broke his silence when the Chicago Blackhawks terminated the 38-year-old's one-year, $4 million contract on Tuesday due to, quote, unacceptable conduct, end quote. The veteran released the following statement on Thursday. I would like to sincerely apologize to the entire Chicago Blackhawks organization, including ownership, management, coaches, trainers, employees, my teammates, and Ryan Neff. I would also like to apologize to my fans and my family. I am embarrassed and I have let all you down. As a result of my actions, there has been speculations and rumors. I am sickened by the impact this has had on others, and I want to make it clear that in no way did this situation involve any of my teammates or their families. So for everyone who said in the very beginning it had something to do with Bedard's mom, according to him in this statement, it has nothing to do with anybody's family. Most importantly, I want to directly apologize to those who have been negatively affected. I am sorry for additional impact to others it has created. My behavior was inappropriate and wrong, end quote. While details of the situation have been few and far in between, Blackhawks GM Kyle Davidson clarified during a Tuesday press conference that Perry's conduct was a workplace incident. According to Frank Cirali of Daily Faceoff, the incident was, quote, alcohol-fueled, end quote, and took place on November 17th in Nashville during a team-organized function. The incident also involved a team employee, according to ESPN's Emily Kaplan. Now, what I think the funny part with that thing is now they're saying it was a team organization. Originally, when the story came out, it was stated that it was after a game. So, again, which one is it? We hear the tale of two tales, and it becomes, again, this notorious thing where people just can't say, can people just start telling the truth? I would love, more than anything, for someone to say, listen, I screwed up. Here's actually what happened. You guys don't take it out in the organization. It was just me. Just say the damn truth. Everybody always this constant thing like, I don't want to tell the truth. I just want to skate around the truth. I saw the truth, but I went around the truth. The truth was there, but I hopped over it. Just say what the hell happened. Then everybody can get on. But even the Blackhawks aren't saying anything. But anyways, whatever's. While details remain under wraps, again, unfounded rumors of misconduct involving another player's family spread like wildfire on social media. Davidson and later Perry vehemently denied those rumors. This does not involve any players or families or anything that suggests otherwise or anyone that suggests otherwise. It's wildly inaccurate and frankly, it's disgusting, Davidson said during his press conference. Okay, great. That's wonderful. Again, we don't know jack shit. If you look at it, no one knows. Why can't you guys just say what it was? Everybody with let me circle back. Let me do this. Jesus. Is the White House press secretary behind all this? That's all I want to know. Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think they're going to do? They're just going to come out?
Of course not.
Blatantly tell the truth? That's not the sports way, man. You should have figured that out by now. They'll spin doctor it any way they can. They're not going to tell the truth. Maybe along down the line, the exact truth will come out. But obviously it had something to do with alcohol because he came out last week and said that he was trying to reach out for substance abuse or alcohol abuse. So it had to do with some sort of substance. Now, whether it was he was, doing something and he got into it with a teammate or he got into it with somebody from the organization or something that was said that was inappropriate, you're not going to know. This will be handled in-house, but eventually at some point the details will come out. But Corey Perry's not going to just hop on, live TV and say, yeah, this is what I did. The Blackhawks aren't going to say it. It's not. And again, I say this all the time. When we're growing up, your parents always tell you, well, tell the truth. You're better off just telling the truth. But as we get older and we get ourselves in situations and we get legal advice, keep your mouth shut. Don't say a word. Just keep it shut. We'll handle it. So again, it just makes me laugh sometimes. Just like that comedian would say one time, you're always told growing up that practice makes perfect. But then when you get older, people tell you, well, nobody's perfect. So
Right.
I just practicing.
Exactly. By the way, Joey, I'm going to get to AJ's coming here in a second, but Joey B says, Neff dancing again to Latin music on YouTube. This show needs a PG-13 rating icon like the Barbie movie. Then quickly follows up with unacceptable conduct equals Neff dancing to Latin music on camera. And then followed by workplace incident, could be anything. Typical spin doctrine by Blackhawks PR team. Agree 100% with Angel. Thank you very much, Joey B. Which it is. It's nuts. Again, no one is gonna come out and say exactly what it is. The Blackhawks organization has already been under scrutiny, just like the Washington Commanders. And for those who've ever watched this over on Broad Street South, it's rare that I call them the Commanders. On that side of the house, I've always called them DCU after they changed their name for the District Columbia University, because it's exactly what that team is right now until they finally come back to what they were. I still think they should have went back to being the Redskins, but whatever. The NFL is going to do the... Oh, speaking of, Roger Goodell, by the way, that little stupid thing you put over the weekend, talking about that you guys want to ban the tush push. Come on. Seriously? There's other things to worry about the NFL. And you guys want to, why? Because teams can't perfect it? Or you don't like it that it's called the Beverly Shove or the tush push? I told you, if you guys want to, just call it, touch my ass. Right? Mine's the name of that, because at this point, where else are you going to name it? It's ridiculous. Stop with the nonsense. Roger Goodell, you wonder why people boo you everywhere you go. And you think, everybody loves me. No, they don't. No, they don't. Anyways, so AJ from San Antonio says, so what if FSU's quarterback is out? The college committee criteria rule about a team missing key players may be a rule, but it's about as fair a rule as bank being allowed to foreclose on a house when you miss one mortgage payment. Truth. That rule alone opens the door for the committee to do what it did yesterday, which is correct.
Well,
Listen, again, I'm not a super college football aficionado. For those who ever tuned in here first time to Martinez Company, if you guys will watch us here on social medias, thank you. We do appreciate it. Also, by the way, if you missed the Friday Funny from last week, check out the Twitter handle, Broad ST South Pod, and check out the Friday Funny that we had, which Real Delco Dave and my brother there, Rich Quinones, they got into it in a friendly way, but it was just funny as obviously Rich had mentioned him being a hockey guy, and Delco Dave came back real quick with his response. Joey B says, not betting the tush push and Neff dancing on TBSN is a priority. Give the fans what they want.
Damn right. Damn Skippy. Damn Skippy.
There you go.
So you want to talk about, again, the college football playoff. Boo Corrigan came on ESPN last night or yesterday and said, well, Florida State's not the same without Jordan Travis. Right. No shit, Nancy Drew. But guess what? You get a different team week to week in college football. No team is going to play the same. No team is going to look the same. You're going to get something different week to week. That's a bullshit excuse. I'm tired of it. Look, it is a team sport. Team sport. Jordan Travis goes down. So what? They went undefeated. They were 13-0. ACC champion. But the reason why Alabama got in is because that idiot of a commissioner went on live TV and pandered to the lowest common denominator. And then they only took Alabama. I'm going to tell you why they took Alabama, Angel. Because of the SEC's history in the college football playoff. They can spin it however they want to. Florida State belongs in the college football playoff, and Alabama and Georgia should be out. And if you really want to take the four best teams, if we're really talking about four best teams, should have been Michigan, Georgia, Florida State, Washington. Flat out.
All right. Joey B says, Boo Corrigan, the athletic director at North Carolina State, threw his own conference champ under the bus. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, again, next year you'll probably have the same issue, even though we're going to 12 teams, because the 13th and the 14th team that are on that board, they're going to have something to bitch about as well. So I know it's not a perfect system, but for the love of Christ, 13-0 ACC champs, and I'll harp on it. Yes. Was Alabama? I've got Alabama's schedule. Let everybody go back and take a look at Alabama's schedule. Go back and take a look at it. You tell me if that's a top-notch schedule. And it's not. They struggled at South Florida. They barely beat Arkansas. And then Sankey wants to get up. Week in and week out, you're going to have tough. Just give me a break. Go look at Alabama's schedule as compared to Texas and Florida State. And you tell me who should be in the college football playoff. And I'll leave it there. Because I'm really going to start getting pissed off.
That's okay. But listen, just like the NFL, all you guys will be back come next year to take a look and criticize all over again. Because, again, I don't know what's going to change. I mean, at this point, we've talked about AI. Do we allow AI to take over and just pick the teams just at random, put them all in a pot and just say, here's what we spit out and we're good?
You know what I would do, Angel? If I'm the conferences, and they'll never do this because there's too much money involved. If I'm any Power 5 conference as an AD or a commissioner or whatnot, get rid of the conference championship games. Just get rid of them. So whoever wins the conference during the regular season, those are your 5 automatic bids. And then you just go by the letter of the law. And then you take the other 7. Get rid of the conference champ, because conference champions, what the committee said yesterday basically is, even if you go undefeated, 13-0, and you win your conference, it's still not good enough to get in because you had one player go down. And yes, he's an important piece of the puzzle, but it's a team effort. It's a team effort. Yeah, they didn't look good against Florida, but their defense did. They didn't look good offensively against Louisville, but their defense was spectacular. How in the hell do you know if Florida State gets in there, Florida State plays Michigan, that Florida State doesn't beat Michigan? You should have given them that opportunity. But because TCU got blown out by Georgia last year in a national title game, they didn't want it to happen again. You don't know if it's going to happen again or not. That's a crock. They can come up with all kinds of excuses and reasons that they want to. It's a joke. And I'll tell you what, had Louisville lost to Kentucky last week, and if Louisville would have been ranked even higher, maybe Florida State would have gotten in. I don't know. But they can twist it any way they want to. It's a travesty. It's BS. And I'm sick into my stomach for those kids.
Joey B says, of the selected teams and Florida State, Alabama ranks highest in the strength of schedule, 5th nationally, with a combined opponent record of 98-60, a 62% winning rate. So, again, there's a lot of folks that are just upset. And I guess college football, NCAA does not pay me for anything, just my opinion. I'm just saying that a lot of people are upset. And I guess if you have money on it, whatever case would be, I thought personally, again, me thinking Florida State should have been in there, but one hell do I know, especially Georgia. I thought Georgia would have been there as well. AJ from San Antonio says, Alabama played Middle Tennessee first game and played Tennessee Chattanooga just 2 weeks ago. They squeaked by Arkansas and needed a 4th and forever Hail Mary against Auburn. It's all garbage. So, listen, I know you're looking at yourself. Listen, I'm not going to disagree with AJ. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with a lot of things that were said today. But it's just there's a lot of people are going to be frustrated. And by the way, you talked about that next year with that 12 team. So here's something that was put together today where it said if it looked like what the postseason will look like if it was this year, teams with first-round byes, 1 being Michigan, 2 Washington, Texas, and then Alabama. And then your first-round matchups will be Florida State versus Liberty, Georgia at Ole Miss. That'd be number 6 and number 11. And then you would have number 7, Ohio State, at number 10, Penn State, and then number 8, Oregon, at number 9, Mizzo. So, listen, I don't know. I know the debate can go on forever. I know it. I get it. I understand it. Again, vent out your frustrations. That's why we're here this evening. I will be your team psychologist. I will be here the entire night. And if you guys want me to talk to you in Spanish, I can do so. You won't understand it, but hey, it might get your mind off of what you think what you should be hearing. And if you do want to hear some more, well, just call and text us, 844-644-8669. 844-644-TONY. Again, you guys are listening to the Tony Bruno Sports Network, Martinez and Company, myself, Angel Martinez, Ryan Neff here, Monday through Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. Don't forget, folks, to download the apps. They're all over the place. Go to the Google and or Apple store so you guys don't miss it. You're on the road. You're in a plane. Wherever you are. You're a bird. You're a train. I don't know, whatever. You have the app. You'll be able to listen to us and Tony and Pete Shepard and Defa Luby. So therefore, you won't miss a thing. And then next week when AJ comes back, you guys will be able to hear him as well. So just download the apps. It's a fabulous thing. Listen, it doesn't cost you anything at all. Just like subscribing to a YouTube channel. It doesn't cost you a dime. All you got to do is just download it. It's on your phone. You guys can listen to it that way. You might be in the shower. Who knows? A lot of people have Bluetooth speakers in their house. Ryan there at his penthouse has Bluetooth all over the house, and he can hear it everywhere. As soon as he comes in from work, he just says, phone. What? He just says, phone. Play Tony Bruno Sports Network, and then starts playing. Hey, listen, I'm trying to get you more. Just don't worry about it. I got you. Joey B says the TBSN app, easy to download and use. See, even Joey B, if Joey B, our fantastic listener for the last 4 years over in Broad Street South, says it's easy. Even he's made the transition, so you guys can hear it. By the way, the sports radio side on the other side, it's almost complete. Almost complete. I'll have an announcement on that behalf as well, so that'll be nice. But James Harden, apparently as well, do I have his thing? Let's see. So he says that Daryl Morey reneged on a max deal promise which ended their relationship. Again, this is what he's saying. After months of speculation, James Harden finally went on the record about what ended his decade-long relationship with Daryl Morey, current president of basketball operations for the Philadelphia 76ers and former GM of the Houston Rockets. And it is exactly what reports have indicated all along. According to Harden, Morey promised him a max extension, and then Morey didn't contact him this past summer. Harden felt betrayed. Sam Amick of The Athletic asked Harden the question during a recent interview. Amick says, so you mentioned the financial part, and I was hoping you could clarify one aspect of that situation. Were you actually told by the Sixers that you had a deal coming? Harden, a max. Amick, yeah. Harden, yeah. That was said by Daryl. That's Amick. Harden agrees, yes. Amick tried to nail down the date when Morey actually said this to Harden, but didn't get too far. Amick, by timing-wise, when did Daryl tell you that you would be getting the max? Harden, well, the time that's not what's important, or the time that's important was before the playoffs started last season. He had conversations with my representation. When we reached about Harden's claim, a Sixers team source denied this was the case. So, Harden also revealed that the betrayal cut even deeper from him after he opted into his 2023-24 deal with the Sixers. That opt-in came with a trade request to get Harden out of Philly, preferably to LA Clippers. According to Harden, when he or his representation spoke with the Sixers about the trade request, the team said it would be a 10-day process. It did not end up that way. Morey first reportedly decided to end the talks before Harden finally got his trade on the Clippers October 31st. So, make it what you want, folks. We haven't heard Daryl Morey's side of the house. Again, 3 sides to every story. Your side, their side, the truth. We just heard from Harden from what, according to what he's saying, is that it was because he was supposed to get the max deal. Now, if it being true, why would Daryl Morey, knowing not only of age, so, okay, I would have posed this question to Sixers fans, like myself, who I'm a Sixers fan. Did it take to get the max deal in order for you to play during the playoffs? No, because it would have been the same freaking ridiculous nonsense that would have just paid you a whole hell of a lot more to do nothing. So, and then you go to the Clippers. Granted, they've turned things around a little bit, but you go over there, you stick up the house over there as well. I would love to hear Morey's side of the house. What actually happened? What went down? So once again, all of us would know. But I don't believe by any means whatsoever, if James Harden would have gotten the max deal out of Philly, that all of a sudden he just would have been like, oh, all right, I'm here to play. So you weren't, because you weren't getting max money. You're at what, 30-something at this point? So it's just, come on, man, just knock it off. Honest to God.
Why would anybody listen to anything the two of them had to say anyway? And here's the thing, James Harden. The Sixers in the organization saw your effort in games 6 and 7 against the Celtics in the conference championship. So do you think that they wanted to sign you after that to a max deal? Hell no. You've been a cancer everywhere you've been. Doesn't matter. So you had too much money and too much respect lost. Well, good riddance. You got your wish. You're out. Philly's moved on. You should move on. I'm sure at some point we'll hear from Daryl Morey, or Daryl Morey may decide, you know what, I'm not going to justify it with a response because that was between me and him. So, again, I don't put any faith or stock into whatever the two of them have to say at this point. Again, it's over. It's done. Harden knows where he's at, and we see how that's working out for him. So he's not going to get a max deal anywhere, period. He's getting older. His game and his effort. Let's be honest. He disappears. He disappears when the lights shine the brightest. And again, don't take any responsibility for it. It was all Daryl Morey's fault. You had nothing to do with it.
Of course not.
All his fault.
Yeah. Do it either. Of course not. Before the break here, AJ from San Antonio says, my last college football comment. I'm not getting on you, Angel. Believe me. And yes, someone will get screwed always. But there's getting screwed and there's fixing the deck. And the fix was in. The strength of schedule, RPI rankings are suspect too. Good for you guys good for guys like Booger McFarland and Tim Brando for what they said about this. Just saying. No, it's true. And AJ, believe me, I'm not disagreeing with any of you guys. I'm not. Because, do I believe there was a fix? Of course. I said in the very beginning that they said that the SEC, they needed someone in there. And again, what can you do? There's people that are just upset. I would probably be as hot as you guys are right now if I actually really followed it closely as much you guys do. But my thing is, there's always a fix. Don't think that the NFL doesn't do the same crap too. There's a fix. Come on. I mean, who are we kidding ourselves? So it's just, I understand AJ and everybody else. I understand the frustration. Don't get me wrong. But as you said, just saying, as the old ridiculous statement, it is what it is. It's done. I'm pretty sure the boys from Georgia, the same way that the kids from Florida State were just highly upset. And I wouldn't blame them whatsoever after what happened over the weekend. And that Michigan-Iowa game, by the way, which I thought was going to be a lot more interesting, was a complete, utter, dribbled mess. I don't understand why Iowa stuck in when Ben Roethlisberger Jr. as their quarterback the entire game. You're not doing that well. Take him out in the second half, but they chose not to. So it is, listen, I don't know. It is what it is, unfortunately. I hate to use that statement, but that's exactly what it is. But after the break, when we come back, live with you guys here, and don't forget you can call or make your comments here live on the Tony Bruno Sports Network page, and or call into the show at 844-644-8669, 844-644-8669. We'll keep taking your comments. You guys want to keep going with the college football? We understand it. We get it. But right after the break, waiting on the other side is John Kincade, as he not only kicked the crap out of cancer, continues to just prove how much it isn't a challenge for him. And I'm glad, because he knows I love him to death, and we had such an awesome time here 2 years ago in Tampa, and I can't wait for him to come back down. So after the break, you'll hear John Kincade from the John Kincade Show, 97.5 The Fanatic, maybe a little bit more of Ryan, I don't know. Hopefully everything will come back smooth. But until then, we'll talk to you guys after. Oh, look, he's got a little furry friend. Imagine that. For those who can't see, no, we're not talking about that kind of furry friend, so you guys get the mind out of your gutter. He actually has a black and white furry friend that he brought up on the screen. So after the break, we'll get to it with John Kincade. You guys are listening to Martinez and Company right here on the Tony Bruno Sports Network, 658, and it is absolute 65 beautiful degrees down here in Tampa, Florida. We'll talk to you right after this.
watching you. I'll show you what it feels like. Now I'm on the outside. We did everything right. Now I'm on the outside. I'll show you what it feels like. Now I'm on the outside. We did everything right. Now I'm on the outside.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting, and now it's here. TBSN, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Make some noise!
Tune in at 7 a.m. and hear Pete Shepard till 10. And then Defo and Luby from 10 a.m. till noon. And then the man himself, Tony Bruno, and the Tony Bruno Show starts at 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Martinez Company from 6 p.m. to 8. And we've got more to come. The Tony Bruno Sports Network. Download the app. Tell your friends the game is on. TBSN.
And just like that, as quickly as we didn't went to the break, as quickly as we come right back out of the break. That's the quick one, folks. At the top of the hour, third quarter here on Martinez Company. I am Angel Martinez. He is Ryan Neff. And joining us tonight, John knows I have nothing but love for this man. He also knows I have nothing but respect for this man because we had such a fantastic time. And it seems like forever, John, the last time you were here, but we had such a fantastic time when it came down to Tampa. Man, what a great weekend. We had so much fun as it did the early morning show. Then it came back towards the afternoon. The weekend was complete. So much fun. And if you guys don't listen to him in the morning, you guys can listen to them at 97.5 The Fanatic. They also have an app as well that you guys can listen through. You can listen through it through iHeartRadio. But from the John Kincade Show, it is John Kincade. John, thank you for coming back on the show with us.
I'm thrilled to be here tonight. And it's not 65 degrees in suburban Philadelphia is all I will tell you. So screw you both on that.
No, hey,
my brother worked in the Hillsborough Sheriff's Department for 28 years and has now moved back here. And he bitches and complains all the time about the cold. And I find it funny. But I said, you're the one who came back, dude. You're the one who came back.
Exactly. I'm over in Bristol, buddy.
Oh, man. I'm telling you. Jeez.
So he's just as cold as you are, John. Listen,
oh, absolutely.
We went through our cold little spell last week. I think we.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we went through it, and for about 2-3 days, and then we're gonna go through it a couple days from now. But it's gonna be in the mid-70s, so I'm not.
What did Estelle have to put a sweater on going to her early dinner? I mean, come on. Yeah. Is that how you judge cold? I mean, give me a break. I don't want to hear from you people. And every time I see Tony Bruno's social media, the great Tony Bruno, and I love the Tony Bruno Sports Network. I think that's awesome. I interned under Tony. And Tony was very pivotal in getting my career started. So I got nothing from love for that man. But I got to tell you, every time I see Tony Bruno's social media, I want to mute him with the pictures and the boat and the sunshine. Enough of that. Stop rubbing it in. And he's rubbing it in on his Philly faithful. I mean, it's different with you guys pulling that crap on us. It's different.
I know, but I listen, you got to come down to Paradise, John. When you're,
yes.
You went from Georgia back to Philly, and I'm pretty sure everyone loves that you went back home, back to Philadelphia. But when it's all said and done, okay, well, two things, actually. When it's all said and done, come back to Florida and then stay here and then be on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Well, I think what I would do is maybe like if I could do something on the Tony Bruno Sports Network, like when I'm retired, like from January to like the end of March, because I can tell you this, I'm never getting my wife away from our daughter. And I wouldn't want to be that far from her either. And right. She's a young little powerhouse. And she's just become a Philly girl in the last 2 years. And she loves it. She always loved Philly. We would always be up here for the holidays and seeing family and everything. And I don't think there's going to be anything that drags her butt out of Philadelphia. She loves it very, very much. A junior at Temple University, like her dad. She wants to be a Temple grad. She just has the much better GPA at this point.
Oh, nice. Probably better than Brian's. Brian, I think he was at 1.2 when he left from his university. I'm not too
1.2? Is that it?
No.
Eh?
No, a little higher than that.
I was a 2.37 after my freshman year at Temple, which is almost impossible. But I took all of like the required classes freshman year, so I was bored silly and couldn't pay attention. So I bailed myself out by the end. And now I'm a professor. I teach in the spring semester. I teach a class that I created last year. and I'm coming back to do it for the second year on talk radio. So I'm actually teaching back at my alma mater, and I'm very excited about it. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. I love teaching. It's so much.
That's right. Look, it's so much fun that he exited out. That's how much fun it is. We'll have John back here shortly. Listen, I can't tell you how many times I say this every time. When you go live, folks, it's when things happen. I'm assuming maybe his laptop would probably just end up dying. Jeez Louise. Well, Joey B, I'll show him a comment again when he comes back. He says, Kincade can live on Tony's boat from January to March, do a show from the captain's chair. He could. That would be interesting. I'll make sure Joey he sees this when he comes back. So and hopefully John knows that he's went off. He should see it. Obviously, he didn't see us. You go live and poof and be gone. That's what ends up happening. Let me see if I can't send him a message here. Holy mollies. Oh, boy. It's always fun. I love what I do. And the reason why I love it is because when things like this happen, you can't script this, folks.
Here's John. Look.
He's back?
No, right here.
Where? Oh, yeah, the cat. Good going. Just like as I'm trying to send a message, you distract me on that one. Oh, my God. Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Unless they had a power surge.
Yeah, it could happen. It could be. It could possibly be. So I'll send him a quick
Eagles
message.
fans are still upset about last night.
That could have been it too. Maybe Howie went to the house and unplugged them. Nope. You can't talk about the Eagles. That's why I saved the Eagles segment until John comes back. So hopefully John Kincade will come back. I just sent him a quick message, so hopefully he'll be able to receive it and then come back on with us again. It happens. And then sometimes, so folks to understand something here, a lot of times when you bring a guest on via phone, via video, whichever way you end up doing it, sometimes the guests will believe they're still on and talking to us, and they feel like, wait, the guys aren't putting me back on screen. But then it's not that. It's just it disappears, and then they find their power plug and everything else, and everything goes back alive. Joey B says, Kincaid's internet is like the Eagles' office. Can get started. Wow.
And Colorado's.
Wow. Yeah, but okay, the Buffalo season's over. That's it. Why not? Listen, Denver, how about Denver's game yesterday as we wait for John to come back here? That was a really good game by Denver yesterday against Houston, and they almost ended up pulling it off at the very end, but Houston ended up walking away with the win.
Yeah, man. I mean, Houston's tough. They're gritty. I apologize. I will officially apologize to the Houston, Texas organization and fans and players and coaches for saying that they were going to stink out loud this year. I was wrong. I admit it. You see it here on live broadcast that I admit that I was wrong about the Texans. So CJ Stroud is a generational talent. If they get more talent around that kid and they can shore up that defense, yeah. But I mean, yeah, Joey B, I saw that stat. The Broncos were 0 for 13 on third down conversions yesterday. Look, the streak had to stop sometime, and it stopped last night. So there he is.
John's back. Well, let me.
You gone?
No, you were gone. We're talking all set aside. That's why I sent you a message. If you didn't get
see,
it.
the thing is I'm on. I was like saying it showed me that I was still live, and you guys went blank.
No,
which was weird. I hope you didn't go blank with content though, because that, I mean,
sure didn't.
That's good. No, it's good. I'm right here, so it's good. So it rebooted, so it got me back on. So glad to be with you guys.
Well, same here. So when you left us there momentarily, you talked about doing the being a professor and able to do it for talk radio. So year one, how did it go for you, John?
It went really well. I enjoyed it very much, except my crazy final exam.
Oh boy.
Because I gave a final, they want you to have exams.
Okay.
So what I did is I did like for the midterm, I had them elect one spokesperson, and the class was allowed to answer 10 questions collectively as a group. But they had to have one spokesperson that gave the final answer. And I either gave them a full point or a half point for their answer or a quarter point, depending on how they did. They got 10 out of 10. Well, like 4 questions in, they're all whooping it up and celebrating. And the professor from next door comes in the door of the back of the room and goes, "What's going on in here?" I said, "We're just having more fun than your class has." And the whole class erupted in laughter. And he complained to my dean about it. Yes. Wow. And the dean goes, "Well, that's just John. That's just me. So my final exam, though, was a little odd choice because I had the entire class. They were attending the memorial service of John Kincade.
Oh,
and they had to pretend it was the memorial service, and they were asked, his dying wish was that each of them would say something that they learned from Professor Kincade. Well, the weird thing was the next week I was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, wow.
And my wife hated the idea before I did it as the final exam. And I found out a week later that I had stage 3 cancer in my lymphatic system. And the idea of a John Kincade memorial service was definitely on the table. So it was like, you're stupid. Why'd you do something like that? But it's stupid, stupid, stupid. But this year there will be none of that. There's a
And he's gone again.
He's gone again. I'm telling you. Doesn't like us. He doesn't like us. There's glitches.
And just like that. See? Because he just mentioned it about the, oh boy. Now, wait till he comes back. I'm going to tell him, see, now you're batting 1,000 because you said that your wife didn't like it when it came on to John. By the way, if you can hear us, we're still here. Well, you won't be able to hear us because you said the
You're
last
gone,
time.
John. You got to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. So now hopefully he'll come back here. He's probably talking. He's probably thinking we're talking over him, but no, he'll come back. Once again.
I want to know if he's like Sam Kinison from Back to School. You remember Sam Kinison's character, the professor?
Yeah.
He starts going off on him. I wonder if he's like that, or if he's just like, he's his own kind of guy. But I don't know if he gets in the students' faces like Sam Kinison did in Back to School. Now that would be funny. I would just go take a class if he were like that.
And he's back.
I don't know what's going on. I have great internet too. I'm not going to give you the company because they'd be failing tonight. That's all I'll tell you.
Maybe Tony Bruno and Miss Robin keep pulling the plug. I don't know.
It could very well be. Miss Robin has always kept me in check because I'm not screwing around, Miss Robin. I'd pull something on Tony before Miss Robin because she'll cut you. She'll cut you.
And then, as he says, she'll cut you. You cannot make this up, folks. I swear you can't make this up. Then listen, Miss Robin's listening. Oh my God. If she's listening, she just cut him again. Oh no. Oh boy. Listen, this is why you do digital radio. For this reason whatsoever. You thought Friday Funnies was great. This is even better. Oh man.
You couldn't have scripted it any better.
You sure couldn't. Hopefully John will come back. I saw his screen refresh. So, the funny part was I put Joey's comment up there, man, and then he goes away. So hopefully he'll come back here. Dear God, this is going to be great. Oh, this is going to be great. This will make it for a great clip later on. You cannot make this stuff up, folks. And for those who are listening on the app, this is why you download the app. And if you don't have the app downloaded, this is why. When you miss moments like this, when John Kincade is on with us and he's telling us about his wife and his story about him being a professor and then Miss Robin cutting him. And the minute that he says, Miss Robin cut me, whoop, she did it again. She took him off. So, oh, man. Boy, that was a great, great freaking moment. Joey, I will keep the comment up there until his cut line comes back. But as we got into it when it came down to Denver, oh, man. But that was a rib buster. Wait until he comes back on. It cannot be any better. I can't wait to tell Miss Robin. It could not be any freaking better. Anyways, getting back to Denver here before John comes back in the house here. Houston, again, you look at the D'Amico Ryans. And obviously for C.J. Stroud, and it was talked about that, did Houston make the right hire? Obviously they did with D'Amico Ryans, and then obviously they pursued the right quarterback with C.J. Stroud. Even though it started tough for him in the preseason, but everybody knows preseason means absolutely nothing. Nothing whatsoever. And so it's one of those things that you have to look back and see where the Texans were last year, where they are this year, and the grittiness that they do have, because I didn't think personally, and Ryan, I could be wrong. Maybe you thought differently as well. At the word Houston's right now at 7-5, I didn't think Houston was going to end up being there. And not because it would have been playing bad. It's just a rebuild year, no matter which way you look at it. But C.J. Stroud, to me, he's still in the running for MVP. I could be wrong, but I think so. Even the way Russell Wilson's been coming back, I'm not saying that he'll get up there, but he could be, pretty much somewhere like in the outside in the hunt for MVP. But Denver has also turned around. It's just last night he came up a bit short.
Yeah, I mean, DeMeco Ryans is doing it the right way. He's just letting the coaches coach. He's a player's coach. He's been in the NFL. He understands the ins and outs of today's NFL. That's why he relates to the players so much. He's not close to the age of some of these guys. He's older, but he can relate culturally to these guys. But he's just letting the guys play. He's putting guys in great positions, and that's what you want out of a coach. So CJ's playing within himself. He's playing within the system. And unfortunately, Tank Dell broke his leg, so that's going to be a huge loss. So other people are going to have to step up. But Singletary and Pierce in the backfield are, they're now becoming a fantastic 1-2 punch. Dalton Schultz, who they picked up from the Cowboys tight end wise, he's a great outlet for CJ to dump the ball off to. So, I'm interested to see where this team goes because they're 7-5. They're right in the thick of a wild card. So, I mean, anything can happen in this last 5 weeks of the season. So, it's interesting to see, what this team does going forward. And tell you what, be a fantastic story for the NFL this year. What a feel-good story for that organization. After what they went through with, J.J. Watt ending his career, obviously, and then going somewhere else, but then the whole Deshaun Watson thing. So to come full circle from all that and to be 7-5 at this point of the season and DeMeco Ryans, to be quite honest with you, should be a candidate for Coach of the Year.
Should be.
Yep.
I believe so as well. But they won't give it to him. It'll be, who was it last year? Someone else should have had it last year, and they came up short.
Well, Dable got it for the Giants, I think.
Yeah, but it was who was it? There was somebody else that I think all of us felt they should have gotten it other than Dable. I know, obviously, Nick Sirianni had turned things around for the Eagles, but it was somebody else. I don't know if I remember. I'll end up getting it back. So, John, as he's getting back to me, says he's in a box. It doesn't, but I'm in a box. I think in the coaches running this year, DeMeco Ryans is there. Who else can you think of, though, Ryan, for who's turned things around? I mean, Cincinnati kind of could have if Joey Burrow didn't go down, I guess. Or is Pittsburgh somewhat in the talks as well?
I don't know. I mean, nothing's really, the Eagles and Cowboys are where they should be. If the Packers make the playoffs with Jordan Love and that team, nobody thought that they were going to do anything. Matt LaFleur, maybe if they're on the cut, if they make a wild card, you look at the NFC South, there's nobody that really sticks out because the division's so terrible. Or the NFC West, nobody. Maybe you could think of Shanahan just because he had to navigate the 3-game losing streak, and now they've won 4 in a row. Then you look at the AFC, it's, anybody in the AFC East that really sticks out? No. Nobody, AFC North, no, because, the Browns have tailed off now. Their quarterback situation, I thought Stefanski had done a good job, navigating all that, but now they're I think it's getting ready to implode in Cleveland like it always does. The Jaguars, you would think they're sort of where they should be. So, but no, I think DeMeco Ryans, I think, would be a front runner for Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year.
John's back.
That's incredible. What's going on? Seriously.
I don't know. All I know is that the last thing, listen, we were dying hysterically. As you said, Miss Robin's going to cut you. And then all of a sudden, poof.
Boom. I think Miss Robin did cut me. I think she did. She's good.
And then he's gone again. Oh, my God. No way. It does. Listen, folks, this does not happen. There's nothing we're doing. Oh my God. John's gonna think that we're screwing around with him. We're not. He just, as he keeps saying,
I
Miss
can't,
Robin
man.
cuts him. He
I
doesn't
can't.
need to say Miss Robin anymore.
I can't even.
Oh my God. Boy,
Oh
boy.
my God. Oh.
Hold on. Jeez Louise.
You might just have to call in on the line.
Well, unfortunately, I can't do that either, but wait, and he's back. And he's back again. Hold on. No, I did see him and he went away. What happened?
He was there.
I know. And then he went away. Wait, I got to try and do something differently here. Listen, folks, I'll say this over and over and over again. This is what happens when things go live, unfortunately. And there's nothing that we can do. Nothing that we can do, but oh my God, this is hysterical. It's a first for us, but it's hysterical. I'm going to try, while we're in progress here, I'm going to try and send him a new one and see if he comes back on that one. Oh, dear God. Then next time, when he comes back, he doesn't need to say that Miss Robin cut him, because obviously when him saying it, that Miss Robin had cut him, that's what ended up doing it. So anyways, I sent him a brand new one. Hopefully he can come back, and maybe I'll come back for the last segment here. Oh my God. You can't script that, folks. You really can't.
Nope.
So, Kincaid's internet is like Tony Bruno's boat, always being fixed. So I guess maybe he didn't see he probably didn't see the new one. Hang on, folks. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is what you have to do when you multitask, when you're a producer and everything else in between. You just have to multitask and hope that everything goes well. So he'll come back again. Hopefully we can get him on here for the last segment of the show. Oh, man. It doesn't work any better. If you guys are watching on here on social media, on the Tony Bruno Sports Network, or over on Twitter, you guys have had quite the last, hopefully, like we have, because you cannot script this stuff up, folks. We're not doing anything on our end. And he talked about it. He didn't want to badmouth his internet company because he has a great internet company. But we're here, and he's gone somewhere in the abyss. So hopefully he'll get the new one I sent him, and he'll be able to come back. Oh, hold on. He's there. Let me add him to this. And he's gone. He was there, and he was gone. There's something going on with his PC, because he was just there, and he was gone. Hold on. Let me. Holy moly's, man. Oh, my God. It's what happens when you go live. It happens when you go live. Let me tell them I'll do the Best Buy. Try to restart your PC, and then maybe that'll get it going. And hopefully it'll get it reconnected. Listen, it's stuff that happens. I swear it's just stuff that happens. This is why, listen, when you run a show, you try to do the best you can to bring entertainment and laughs and everything else. And this is what happens when you go live. Things happen, folks. There's nothing that we can do. It just goes live. Well, you got some breaking news?
Just, no.
And he's back.
Yeah,
and
so.
Holy moly's.
The Heisman finalists were announced. LSU's Jaden Daniels. There's a shock. Oregon's Bo Nix. Washington's Michael Penix Jr. and Marvin Harris. So LSU's Jaden Daniels, Oregon's Bo Nix, Washington's Michael Penix Jr., and Ohio State receiver Marvin Harris Jr. are the four finalists that have been invited to New York. So there's really no shock there. Those are from what I saw all year long, the most outstanding players this year. And I pulled up a sound effect, Angel, in reference to the system tonight.
Right.
Hold on.
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts?
It happens, man. It happens. I don't know what else to say, but it happens. We'll see. Maybe we'll get him on the phone because he tried the new one. He said and it froze. So unfortunately, Hey, listen. If the world was easy, as Staples has that easy button, if things were easy, we would have an easy button, and you would press it, and voila, things would work. But unfortunately, it's what ends up happening.
Maybe it's the College Football Playoff Committee getting pissed off at me for what I said earlier and continue to say, throughout the night about their travesty decision. So maybe the college football playoff committee is hackers have hacked into our system and continue to tinker with it.
It could be. So we'll try another time with John. John says that he apologizes, as do we as well, because there's nothing. Yeah. And there's nothing that it's just sometimes things happen. There's gremlins, there's gerbils, there's everything else in between. And unfortunately, it was one of those things that it didn't pan out. So he says on his end, it says he's live and that he's there, we're gone, and vice versa. Obviously, we can't see him, but he well, anyways, it happened. John was on with us intermittently. It was nice at the very beginning until he said Miss Robin. And until he said Miss Robin cut him. Well, I don't know if Miss Robin's actually listening or watching, whatever the case may be, but just sheer coincidence, he happened to be gone. So, listen, things happen. But thanks to John Kincade for coming on from the John Kincade Show. You guys can listen to him on 97.5 The Fanatic. But, of course, we want you guys to listen to Pete Shepard at the Pete Shepard Show from 7 to 10 a.m. as Pete always does a great job here. Give me 1 second as I'm trying to resolve yet another issue, and we will see. We're trying to, I'm trying to get another message here sent through. But anyways, as we come back from the break, as we hope to get John back on here, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to get him back on. When we come back from the break, we'll get into some more talk. Obviously, Kane had picked out his team, who he wants to be with, a couple other NHL updates, and some more NFL. And you guys know college football has been obviously the talk of the night here. And we want, listen, you guys, if you guys want to vent. That's what we're here for. Vent, let it all out. Let us know the way you guys are feeling. Because, again, it happens. So, I don't know. But after the break, we'll get some more into, man, I'm telling you, that is going to be the most hysterical thing after. When I get the opportunity to cut it up and send it out there, oh, dear God. Miss Brock will be the first one to get it. But anyways, thanks to John Kincade for tuning in with us here off and on. We'll get him back on another day, and we'll try it again. Thank God he beat cancer again now for the third time in his life. So cancer is over 3. John remains perfect at 3-3. Let's see. Oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
How's it going, buddy?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll get... Give me a second here. Oh, dear God. Yeah, okay. Let me take a quick break. As we regroup, we'll see if we can get John back on here, and then we'll get into some more NFL stuff. It's the way it works. It's just the way it works. Martinez Company here from 6 to 8 p.m. The best stuff throughout the evening, and then tomorrow morning, start your day with Pete Shepard and Pete Shepard Show from 7 to 10 a.m., followed by Default and Luby from 10 to 12. The best stuff between 12 and 3, and then Tony Bruno and Miss Robin with the Tony Bruno Show from 3 to 6 p.m., After the break, we hope to get John back on here. So we'll talk to you guys right after this.
This is where we all came from. The dreams we had, the love we shared. This is what we're waiting for. In our head, this is where we all come. In our head, this is where we all come. In my mind, in my head, this is where we all came from. The dreams we had, the love we shared. This is what we're waiting for. In my mind, in my head, this is where we all come. In my mind, in my head, this is where we all come. And in my mind, in my head, this is where we all came from. The dreams we had, the love we shared.
You're listening to Tony Bruno Sports Network. Tony didn't invent sports radio, he perfected it.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
AutoZone is more than a parts store. It's where we help you solve problems like, sorry I'm late, my battery died. And
I need a jump again.
at America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price with options starting at only $89.99. And we offer free battery testing and charging whenever you need it. Get the parts and help you need to get the job done right at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Do you know what brand sells the most work shoes in America? Skechers. Why? Skechers has the best looking safety toe and slip resistant shoes around. They've got superior quality and simply incredible prices, but many people get them just for the style. So you can enjoy tough, steel-toed protection and slip resistant soles anywhere, even if you don't need them for work. And since they're Skechers, you know they're going to be comfortable with Skechers exclusive air-cooled memory foam. Find your new pair of Skechers safety toe and slip resistant work shoes at a Skechers store, at Skechers.com, or wherever work shoes are sold.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Now back to the biggest sports network on the planet, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Now, when you come back from the break, the reason why you play hello is because I hope that if I say hello, the person on the other line can actually hear me. Hello, John, are you there? Hang on. See what happens? This is what happens. Are you there, John? All right. So since we try to make the connection here, let's see if it'll reconnect back to where I need it to go. Let's see. We'll give it one more test here. I can't see it. Okay. So we're going to do the old-fashioned way, just like we've done it before here in the past. So, John, the one thing you may not want to say anymore is that Miss Robin showing up cutting you because obviously she must have played some sort of trick or something tonight.
She's got more connections than Dom DeSandro, I can tell you that. It's that much. If Miss Robin wants you to disappear, you can disappear quickly. That's all I'm saying. I'm not messing with the queen.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody will. And for those who are watching, by the way, I had to hold my phone up because it was connecting to the to my soundboard, but then all of a sudden it went away as well. But it ended up coming back. But John, as we had you on, we were talking about the professional. We had, by the way, we did laugh. I'm going to tell you hysterically because it was just when you said it the second time, and it was like the timing was perfect as you said it, and ended up going away. Yeah.
She's got big tentacles.
That's what it is.
I say tentacles. That's all it is.
Oh, man. But we wanted to get into you as far as when it comes down to the Eagles, it just seemed, I'm hoping, John, if anything, that was the worst game of the year because we've seen it, we know that the Eagles played 3 games in 13 days. I get it. I understand it. You're asking a lot for a team to do so. But we've seen this team play catch-up for 2 weeks in a row. Not the best weather conditions. Again, you can blame it on all you want to as far as the weather, but it's just
weather conditions were fine yesterday.
Yeah.
There was nothing. I was in the stands watching the game, not in the press box. There was nothing wrong with the conditions of that game. I mean, not at all. If anybody's even trying that out, that's nonsense. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I would have to agree because, again, it's just, we've seen Jalen Hurts obviously better than we've seen him yesterday. I think there was a couple plays where it's just, I would say, in my own opinion, sometimes as a fan I get frustrated where Jalen just tries to do too much and there's nothing there, throw the ball away. One hit where we saw him coming across the field, it was, again, trying to make a play, get some yards in, end up getting hit. And I'm surprised they didn't throw the flag out there because you can squarely see, I mean, I understand, you can see his shoulder drop, but it was another helmet-to-helmet hit. The refs thought that it was not led by the helmet, but on the replay, it sure seemed like it. So I know these guys try to slide. We saw Mahomes, a couple guys over the weekend try to slide, and we've seen some contact hits that weren't there. There was a player that was ejected yesterday. Are we expecting, I guess, too much from Jalen, or is he just expecting too much from himself?
I think Jalen Hurts is one of those guys that thinks he can always make a play. He has great poise in the pocket. He thinks he can, at the very last minute be able to deliver that football because he's not afraid to take the hit. But yesterday, just on the second drive, so they're up 3-0, and then they get into a position where at the 12-yard line, and he takes a 15-yard sack. That's impossible. It's impossible at that point to go from a 2nd and 6 to 3rd and 21 because you took a 15-yard sack because you stood there in the pocket and you're trying to direct A.J. Brown, who you locked in on, and he wasn't surveying the whole field. And I was sitting in that end zone, so he was coming right at me. He was 12 yards, 30 yards probably away from me. I'm watching him the whole time. And there were other options that he could have checked down. He didn't check down. He was trying to go for the big play.
Well, go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
No, John, it's right. I was just going to say, when the Eagles run the ball effectively, like they did against the Bills, good things tend to happen. They only rushed it 18 times yesterday. That's unacceptable. I mean, you can't rely on the passing game.
6 for Swift.
Yeah, I mean,
it can't. Ridiculous.
You can't expect to rely on the passing game that much. And I think what happens is I don't know if it's Sirianni's thing or they just get away from it at the most inopportune times or games. So, I mean, they've gotten away with it for the most part because they've been finding different ways to win games. But we're in December now, John, and when you get to December and January, you've got to be able to run the football to at least control the clock somewhat. And if you can't, you're not going to go real far.
Well, I mean, I think you have an inexperienced play caller in Brian Johnson, who was handpicked by the relationship with Jalen Hurts to be elevated to that position. I think I was very critical in the offseason of a couple things. One was the hiring of 2 inexperienced coordinators for a team that was in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
I think that was a strange decision. I would have, if you wanted to go young, I would have gone young at one. I would have gone veteran at the other. To go with 2 inexperienced guys being tossed the keys to a team that was tied in the Super Bowl with 4 minutes to go, I think was crazy. And I also questioned, why are you extending multi-year contracts to 2 cornerbacks who average out to the age of 31? That's not the winning formula in the NFL. And you have 2 starting corners. It's the as I'm not mistaken, it's the oldest starting cornerback tandem in the NFL average age. And to me, that doesn't make any sense either. I think it was a nostalgia tour thing, bringing back Slay and Bradbury. I would have brought back one and let the other one walk.
Has the defense been exposed the last 2 weeks?
Exposed? Embarrassed?
Yeah.
Exposed? I'm not like I when people say exposed, I always think that means that they can't fix it or it can't be corrected. I do believe they can play better, and I do believe also they can be healthier on defense, which has been a problem all year long. The secondary is an absolute mess. And now you got a bunch of Eagles fans on Twitter today being like, we got Shaq Leonard, man. It's fixed. Bull crap. They couldn't tell you, the average Eagle fan couldn't fill a shot glass with what they know about Shaq Leonard. What they know is what they've read on the internet. And what I know is the last 2 years, Shaq Leonard hasn't been the same player that he was in the first 4 or 5 years of his career. So I'm concerned about that big time, is that are you just going and getting I don't remember many Super Bowl teams that were going out and shopping, at Big Lots heading up to in December, trying to get to the Super Bowl. Something about it just doesn't ring true with me. I'm going to hold out a lot of hope that Shaq Leonard can bring back some of what he was back in 2018, 2019, when he was a really impactful player.
And you figure you get him on the cheap, John. It's not like they had to spend a whole bunch of money on Shaq Leonard.
I know.
Right. So if you're getting him, you know.
But people are acting like it's an impact move.
Right.
And to me, Shane Steichen watched this guy and was like, no, we're good. Let him go. I mean, and I trust Shane Steichen a lot, and he's done a great job with the Colts. I mean, you know, he's got him on a nice winning streak and everything. The Colts who were in a playoff push, who are a young up-and-coming team, had no interest in him. They let him go. I mean, to me, people celebrating the move, I'm questioning it big time, is that if you put something out at the corner tonight, you put a chair outside, and one of your neighbors takes it in and goes, boy, this is the most beautiful chair I've ever seen. I'm going to question that neighbor's judgment.
I can't blame you. But you know, speaking about it, as far as Shane Steichen and the Colts, Gardner Minshew right now, I mean, he's obviously in as the backup because their primary quarterback has been he's been injured. But if Gardner, I guess, keeps playing the way he's been playing so far in the back half of the season, do the Colts keep him around? I mean, again, you would get another quarterback at a cheap price. So do you keep Gardner in for a second year?
I wanted him in. I mean, I wanted him here. I didn't want him to leave here. I didn't understand why they let him go. Because to me, if you're a Super Bowl contender and you're a team who wants to win the Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts has gotten injured every single season for a game or so, you know, or he's dinged up or whatever, I always want to have a veteran backup that's there. And I can tell you this, Marcus Mariota, he quit on Tennessee, he quit on Atlanta, and I don't think the man could lead a bachelor party to a strip club. I think it was a bad decision. It's a good analogy, though. I like
sure
that
is.
analogy.
I like that one too.
You're free to use that one. Just give me credit, please.
All right, I'll make sure I do so. I'll put it on the soundboard. So every time I play it back in, it comes from John Kincade.
There you go. Love it.
But now,
could lead a bachelor party to a strip club.
Exactly. But you have week 14 at Dallas. It's an 8:20 game, if I remember correctly. And then,
yes,
you know, Dallas has been playing well. And listen, we just like everybody else, we rag Dallas fans here on the show. AJ from San Antonio, great guy who tunes into the show each and every day. You know, we keep saying obviously until they play a real team. Now, Dallas has been playing well. The record shows it, and we've seen what Dak Prescott has done. It's not a gimme win by any means whatsoever. And obviously, you want the Eagles to win to continue making that playoff push where they can be, you know, at home throughout the playoffs. But this is not going to be an easy game. And again, the schedule, the way it's been this year, John, and it's just been flexible. I mean, from a lot of 4:25 starts, 8:20 games, Monday nighters. They got the Seattle game the week after that. They got flexed to Monday night. So between the travel, the weird times, is that also take effect into these players? Because we've heard over and over again, they have certain rituals, certain ways they prepare themselves. But now you're traveling to Dallas. It's an 8:20 game. I don't think the extra rest does anything better for you other than them having the day off today. But this Dallas game coming up, how meaningful is it?
Well, it's very meaningful in the fact that if you win it, you've won the NFC East.
Right.
Because you've got the top tiebreaker. You will have swept them in the games. You will be up by 2.5 games because of that half-game tiebreaker. You'll be up 2.5 games with 4 to play. The Eagles aren't collapsing with the Seahawks, 2 Giant games and a Cardinals game. So, I mean, they're in the Seahawks, Giants, Cardinals, Giants, there's at least 3 wins there, if not 4. So you're fine. You win the division. So it's a huge opportunity for the Eagles. But good news for you is this. If the Eagles lose at Dallas and they win at Seattle, Dallas, unless they win out, is not going to beat the Eagles as long as the Eagles then beat the Giants and the Cardinals. So if the Eagles lose to the Cowboys,
right,
and win their last 4 games, the only way they can lose the division is if Dallas wins their last 4 at the Bills, at the Dolphins, versus the Lions, at the Commanders. I know Cowboy DNA, and one thing I know is they choke in December. I am absolutely counting on they're losing either at the Bills or at the Dolphins. I would suggest it's at the Dolphins is where they lose on Christmas Eve. And as long as that happens, as long as the Eagles don't trip up against the Seahawks, Giants, Cardinals, or Giants, this week's game will be meaningless
Like, it means nothing to them as long as they win their last 4 and Dallas doesn't win their last 4. That's the only way they could lose the division.
John,
They would win the common opponent's tiebreaker.
Correct.
Since San Francisco owns the tiebreaker over both, and let's just say San Francisco somehow pulls out home field advantage throughout the playoffs, how confident are you? Basically, what you've seen the last 2-3 weeks out of the Eagles, how confident are you that they could go to San Francisco in an NFC Championship game and win?
Well, I think anybody who says that they would be confident with that is full of baloney. I just don't believe it. That you'd be confident in it. But one thing I would say to you is this. Think about it this way. If you're the number 1 seed right now, you'd get home field advantage. If Dallas beats the wild card opponent, Dallas is going to go probably and see the 1 seed. And maybe you wouldn't mind seeing the Cowboys get another shot at the 49ers while the Eagles played a team like the Lions in the divisional playoff at home. So to me, it wouldn't be a disaster, but I think anybody who is confident today that if there was a rematch, confident saying the Eagles are going to beat the 49ers, I think they're just being pom-pom shakers. Because there's no reason to be confident after you saw that ass whooping yesterday.
Where do you think that they – well, I know what I think. I just know from the eye test, when Philadelphia pounds the rock, mixes in the pass, they win. Hands down, because then you turn it over to your defense. But the couple of games that I've watched where they haven't been able to run it effectively, John, they get themselves in trouble, and then you throw it on Hurts, and he tries to do too much, and then they get themselves in trouble. So what do you need to see from the Eagles going forward as far as the offensive is concerned?
It's mandatory to show that you're a much better team than what you showed yesterday.
You get your answer, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
No, I'm listening to him.
All right. I just want to make sure. But now, John, it's this season. I mean, I don't think the Eagles. I wouldn't expect the Eagles. I guess I know in the beginning of the year. Let me kind of go backwards here a little bit. In the beginning of the year, we always go through, as teams, as fans, fantasy players, you name it, and you go through the teams and you say, okay, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of people may have had them at 10-1, but it's not anything that's ever scripted or written saying that they weren't. For the Eagles to do it back-to-back seasons, and it would be hard to do it for a third season. Obviously, we won't know until 2024 gets here. But for the Eagles and Nick Sirianni, for what he's done with this team, being a young head coach, dealing with Jalen Hurts, and for all of us were really surprised, obviously, when Howie ended up taking him in the second round. What kind of, I guess, to sound kind of homerish at this point, but what kind of grade or an impact can we say that Nick Sirianni has done with this Eagles organization?
Well, Nick Sirianni's done a really, really good job as a head coach. That doesn't mean I think he's done a perfect job, but I think he's done a really, really good job, and I think we're lucky to have him. I would say this. I would actually ask him at some point, I think his sideline is a bit out of control, and I think it's because of him. I think it's what happened yesterday in the Eagles game was ridiculous, and it's because when a head coach is jawing at an opposing player, getting in his face, Andy Reid wouldn't do that. Wouldn't be involved in an incident like that. Doug Peterson wouldn't have gotten himself involved in an incident like that. I think at some point, Nick Sirianni never played in the NFL, and I think that Nick Sirianni wishes he had. And I think he sometimes doesn't know how to control himself on the sideline. And to me, if you're not poised as the head coach, if you don't show poise and calmness and everything, I don't know how you would expect your players to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, especially after that video surfaced to him, yapping at the Chiefs fans after the game. So, I mean, he does himself no justice in the way he acts sometimes, John.
John may not have heard you. So Ryan said that the way he reacted towards the Kansas City Chiefs fans at the end of that game, kind of explained, he's kind of reiterating what you said about Nick Sirianni. But again, he's done a great job here.
His win-loss record's great.
Right.
But he acts like a teenager on the sidelines.
He does.
And to me, I think the one thing I want from my head coach is poise. I want him to be calm. I want his team to be calm. The Eagles yesterday, I think, panicked. And when Nick Sirianni didn't go for it on 4th and 2, he panicked. And all year long, and in his entire tenure as Eagles coach, he has gone for it. And I documented today, in first quarters, second quarters, and third quarters of games that were tied, or games they were trailing, or games they were leading, he's gone for it on 4th and 2 or less. And yesterday, in the biggest opportunity, in the biggest game, he puckered up. His butt cheeks were a little puckered yesterday. And I think that's something he needs to learn from. I think the moment overwhelmed a lot of them yesterday, and it could be a problem.
Yep, I think it does well. But listen, John, we don't want to keep you any much longer. We're coming up towards the end of the show. But, John, we appreciate you. And thank God once again.
Anytime.
No problem. Thank God that you're cancer-free once again, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate everybody out there who put prayers up for me and everything. God is good. It's going to be a good holiday season.
It sure is. You guys been with us? You're welcome, John. All right. So John Kincade was on with us here from 97.5 The Fanatic, and we're able to get him at least back on the phone to get the conversation going here. Dean of College Picks, I don't know if I'll be able to squeeze him in. I might have to get Dean in tomorrow because it's already 7:50, and we'll be coming up in the hard out quick. So I'll get Dean of College Picks tomorrow. Bling, we'll be talking more NFL stuff come tomorrow. So, Dean, I will get you, if you're listening, I will have you on tomorrow because I want to give you the full time because I truly want to get the fan feel of how you guys feel in New England. So I will definitely get together with Dean, and I'll be able to at least talk to him come tomorrow so we can get some more into it. But thanks to John for coming through. Once again, it was one of those funny moments. Man, I don't think, as many shows as we've had, Ryan, as many things have gone wrong, dude, that could not have been any more picturesque perfect than the way it was.
Oh, my God. That was, I'm still trying to hold back my laughter because I keep thinking about it. But, the thought just occurred to me, Angel, what that man's been through time and time again. I know we're passionate about our sports. I know we're passionate about our teams. But in the end, with everything that's going on in the world and people, we might be like broadcasters and we might talk sports and whatnot, but we're all human. You know what I mean? And in the grand scheme of things, it's just a game. Yes, we're passionate about it. We're going to nitpick. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. But then you see people like John, and you hear stories about like John and what they've gone through to get healthy. It puts everything into perspective. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because again, he has gone through a lot. I mean, to have it 3 times and beat it 3 times, some people don't get they don't get the opportunity to beat it the first time around. And so to be able to beat it for a 3rd time, again, it speaks volumes. And very nice gentleman. I'm going to explain something to you guys right now. One thing I will never do is kiss anyone's ass on air in front of them, nothing. If they deserve their flowers, as is now it's said out there in the community, I'm going to say so because John's one of those guys. When I first met him, very outstanding guy. When we met him here in Tampa during the playoffs 2 years ago, it was a great time with him. I was able to interview the entire team. And with John, it was a lot of fun. I was supposed to have 5 minutes with him. I ended up having 15 minutes. And we had the best conversation in the world. And you just can't find a more stand-up person than him. And to be able to still entertain folks while he was going through his treatment because he was trying to do the best he possibly could. I mean, it speaks volumes. He loves what he does, and it shows. And I can't thank John for coming on with us as I was sending a message back and forth here. But, I mean, it was a great time. Listen, when you go live, you got to learn how to work through it. It's just we had fun. We made it through it. It was just hysterical. I can't believe that every time he said Ms. Robbins' name, especially when he said cut, it was like right then and there where you said cut. And Miss Robin, I missed your message, but I'll make sure that John knows that I said hi, that you guys said hi, excuse me, to him. But, man, you couldn't write that any better. This is when I need Tony and Miss Robin in on the live cut-in on the crossover because, good Lord, was that hysterical.
Yeah, man, you can't beat it. So, good Eagles insight. I guess we'll at some point get to the NFL a little bit later tomorrow because there was so much to discuss from yesterday. But so much fantastic content on today's show. John, college football playoff, everybody's comments. That's why we do this, man. We entertain. We no holds barred. And again, everybody call in, give us your comments, your feedback, whatever topic we bring up. We'll debate anybody. We're passionate about this, and every day brings something new, man. Not every show is just like the other one. So, as Coach or as Commissioner Sankey would say, so.
Exactly. Well, listen, because this is why you do this. You do it because you love it. I'll say it on the Broad Street south side of the house. The day that this is no longer fun is the day that I'm done. You got to have fun. Things will happen. Mistakes will happen. Who cares? You walk them through it like a professional. You keep everybody entertained, and you have fun with it because it's not the easiest thing to do, folks. To be on this side of the mic and to do things that the way we do it, especially here on the Tony Bruno Sports Network, it's perfection at its best, but we have fun when little things happen. It happens. We're a month and 2 weeks into it. Who's counting? But we absolutely love it, and I wouldn't be anywhere else except for here. But as we come to the end of the show as well, we say don't drink and drive, arrive alive. Don't forget, if you want to drink tonight or anytime throughout the holiday, make sure you do, but hand the keys off to somebody else, take an Uber or Lyft, and when it's last call for alcohol at 1:45 in the morning, maybe the person you've been talking to and the lights are on, you might not want to hand the keys off to that person. Just saying. But anyways, the rest of the night here, you'll be able to hear the best of Tony Bruno shows. And then you wake up with Pete Shepard in the morning from 7 to 10 a.m., followed by Defo and Luby from 10 to 12. Then the best of between 12 and 3, followed by Tony Bruno and Miss Robin, the legendary broadcaster, between 3 and 6 p.m. And then Ryan and myself right here from 6 to 8 p.m. So enjoy your night. We appreciate you all, and we can't wait to do it again tomorrow night. Have yourself a great night.
You're listening to Tony Bruno Sports Network. Tony didn't invent sports radio. He perfected it.
How much?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Was that friggin' hysterical. Holy Jesus, man. Dude, I never in my life, but it's friggin' funny crap. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, Robin wants to tap into my laptop again. So every time I put the volume up on the mic,
yeah,
when I'm done talking, for some odd reason, when I'm done talking, it automatically puts it down on my laptop, and then I got to go in and flick it back to where I had it. So not exactly sure what's going on there. So, but I just got back to Lloyd. He wanted me to come on, but she wants to tap into the laptop. I'm beat. I'm just, he's going to have to either do it solo or he'll probably ask you to hop on. So
she's hopping on with you, you said?
No, she said she wants to.
Okay.
She said she was still in the studio. And then about 20 after 6, she said she was heading out. So I don't know if she's going to try and hop in from her.
She might do it remotely from the house.
Yeah. So, but good show. Funny shit, man. So.
Sure was. It sure was. Holy crappies. All righty. Well, I got to get Lloyd's show set up so he can go.
All right, homie.
All right, brother.
Later.
Cheers. And end this. Ta-da.